So for this Smart Notebook assignment, I will be completing two modules. Both modules will be included in this screencast, even though they are separate and have different tasks I'm going to complete. For the first module, I'm going to deconstruct a lesson that I downloaded from Smart Exchange using the Smart Notebook software. For the second module, I'm going to use that exact same lesson and show you how to manipulate text, add images, insert hyperlinks, and how to do multiple different skills that are needed when using the software. Um, Here are the skills right here that I'm going to do, and I'm probably going to show you some other things that I discovered when messing around with Smart Notebook that I thought were pretty cool and I'd like to share. But first I'm going to begin with deconstructing the lesson. So first you would go to Smart Exchange once you have the Smart Notebook software, and you would find a lesson that would match whatever you're teaching in your classroom and what would, meet yours and your student needs. So I searched for Constellations. You could also search by subjects, grades, and many different ways to narrow your search. But I did Constellations and I found one that uses Smart Notebook software in order to create it, kind of like the guy did in the video. So you would find it. You have a preview to where you could look through, to see if it's something that you would want to use in your classroom. And then you download it. You can save it however you would like, but I saved it to my desktop, so I'm not going to download it again. But once you download it, it's very clear and simple on how to continue with the download. I downloaded 4 different lessons just because I kind of wanted to get a real feel for different layouts and different features. And I chose the Constellation lesson to use for this assignment because only 2 pages were affected by the fact that my Flash player is currently not working. Oh man, where'd I put it? Okay. Trying to make this not so big. Anyways, I'm going to go back to here real quick. I'm going to continue to use the preview for the first 2 pages, and then the rest, it works perfectly fine. So this is the first page of the Smart Notebook lesson. This is the title page, the constellations. The background's pretty catchy. It kind of gives the students an idea of maybe what constellations are, but it doesn't give it away. So it's a very just to the point title, and it has 2 buttons. So you could go to Teacher's Notes, which is actually the second page, or you could go to the lesson, which literally takes you to the first page of the actual lesson. So for Teacher's Notes, when you click on that, it won't let me click on the preview, so I'll just take you there. You have lesson objectives, which you would maybe share with your students, maybe post it on a board, explain to students that this is what you're going to accomplish by the time they learn the material. You have teacher's notes, which I would assume would probably give notes for the teacher on how to deliver the lesson, maybe activity ideas, stuff like that. Lesson notes would most likely be notes on the lesson, like different stuff to include when given the presentation, since it doesn't really contain a lot of teaching material. Okay, so now I can minimize this because the rest of the pages aren't affected. Alright, so here is the presentation. So this is where it starts the lesson. So what is a constellation? It opens the lesson with a question, which I really like because this gives the students a chance to discuss and brainstorm and think about what they're about to learn. So asking this question doesn't really give any information. The background may give some hints considering you see little clusters of stars. So that may be a clue to some students that don't already know what a constellation is, maybe what it could be. So this would be a great opportunity to allow for group discussion, have students pair with partners or do a think, pair, share type of activity to get them thinking and already talking about the lesson and the material. So once the students have a chance to discuss, and once you have a chance to discuss as a class and maybe talk about what a constellation is, you can move on to the second page. So this gives very clear directions. Click on the constellations. So you have 6 different images right here. And you can notice that there's different blanks. And so you could call students up one by one to click on images that they think are constellations. So I'm going to click on this one. Obviously, this is not a constellation, but I like how this lesson does this. You notice that it is not a constellation, but it does not say wrong answer, incorrect, try again, or anything like that. It simply says planet, kind of like this says the sun. And so it doesn't really call out the student for being wrong, but it automatically corrects them. So they know that the answer is wrong, but it tells them what the answer is. So obviously, they can click on these and they see constellations. Let's say if the students are having a hard time deciding whether or not these are constellations or what these are, it says hint right here. So the student or you as a teacher could drag this out, and it says a constellation is a pattern of stars. So with that information, students could probably guess the options a little bit easier. I accidentally cleared the page, so I'm reversing it. Sorry. Alright, so the next page, design your own constellation. So this gives the students a chance to be creative. Me personally, as a teacher, I would ask students to get out a piece of paper and a pencil so that during this one particular slide or page, all students are actively engaged and immersed in the lesson. So I would ask students to create their own constellation, design it, give it a name, draw it on a piece of paper and start brainstorming, how they would design their constellation. It gives a space right here on the page for maybe a constellation to be designed right here. So as students work individually to design their own constellation and draw it on a piece of paper, as they get finished, you could have random students as you walk around, choose students, that have a good idea or have already finished and really have a well thought out plan and put effort into it to come up to the smart board and actually draw their constellation in the space provided. Okay, say before this, students are having a hard time really thinking about what they would design and how they would do their constellation. Down here at the bottom it says suggested answers. If you click on this button, it takes you to the very last page, I'm pretty sure it's the last page, yeah, of this Smart Notebook lesson, and it gives you an example, the ice cream cone constellation. So this could kind of get students thinking and give them kind of an idea of what's expected or what they could create. And this person created it easily with images of stars. They may have also used a creative pen. There's such thing as a creative pen, and it actually has stars that you could press. And so they may have created it like that, or they may have downloaded images. Anyway, this I think is a really cool idea. So after you show students this, give them an idea, you can go back. First you have to click on the mouse. I always forget that. That's one feature of this I don't like, that you have to actually click on this. Alright, so the next page says constellations change position in the night sky. Click on the different times to see how positions change in one night. So this I think is really cool. Down here it has different times. You as a teacher could click on this, or you could have students come up and click the time in order to see what a constellation would look like in the sky. I think this is really neat. Alright, the next page. During the night, the position of a constellation changes. The position changes because the Earth blinks on its axis. So you could have students try to answer this question. If they get stuck, you could kind of just talk about it, maybe show a video, pop up something in a web browser that talks about this. But to be able to see the answer that's covered up, it says drag to reveal. So this is where you get the magnifying glass and you take it down here and hover it over the word. So it says rotates, which I think this is really cool that you take the magnifying glass. I have this down real low, so it's like bumping into my apps. So I think this is really cool. Alright, so the next page. At different times of the year, we see different constellations. Click on the Earth to see a constellation. This is kind of like this night sky one, where you click except you click on the Earth itself, and it shows you different constellations that happen during that season. So then in the summer, you have this one, during the fall, during the winter, spring was Leon. So I think this is really cool as well. I think students would really be interested in that. All right, this is another drag to reveal, which I really like and I think is really cool. Make this bigger so stop messing. Over a year, we see different constellations. We see different constellations because Earth blinks around the sun. So, revolves. I absolutely love this magnifying glass. That's so nifty. You can never do anything like that on a PowerPoint that I know of. That's always my go-to presentation maker. The following page contains a sample answer to an activity. So this is this last page to design your own constellation. All right, so now that I've kind of deconstructed different features this lesson uses and different ways that it, allows students to be interactive, I think I would make this presentation a little bit more informational if I was given the chance to improve it. It kind of just jumps right in, and I understand that maybe with the lesson notes or the teacher themselves would have the information that they want to express to the students, but I think it would also be a good idea to maybe have that on the presentation and kind of immerse the students in more content-based material, because all of this, not that, but design your own constellation, I love this idea, but I think this would be a really good idea to do kind of at the end of the lesson once students have really studied constellations, what they are, why they exist and stuff like that. They could probably put a lot more imagination into it and more thought, and you could probably also tie it into some type of writing activity, something else that you could really test student learning and judge how much they know about what they're learning. Also, I think this, even though this is really, really cool, I think there's still more opportunities to really teach students about constellations. And, I'm sure that there's plenty more out here. I didn't see anything about the Little Dipper or the Big Dipper on this presentation. And those are the constellations I automatically think of when I think of constellations. I don't think of Leo, Sagittarius, anything like that. So that's probably what I would do. I'd probably add a few, more slides with more interactive things. I'm a real big fan of group work, so I would somehow, try to create a group activity where groups came up to share information on the smartboard, maybe write it with, the pens or, stuff like that. All right, so now that I've deconstructed the lesson and given my opinion for improvements and changes, I am going to use this lesson again to show you how to manipulate text and do different skills. So the first thing I want to show you, because I think it's one of the most important things to know how to do on Smart Notebook software, is how to add a page. I'm going to make this bigger so you can try to see it. I don't think I can scroll. Yeah, I can't scroll on down here. But down here at the very bottom, you see a little page that has add and a little page with the X. So this is always on this side tab that you can use, and you can add blank pages by doing that. Also, it's up here. So if I wanted to add another page, I could click it and it adds it. So now at the very end of the presentation, I have two brand new pages. Say if I wanted this maybe up towards the front, you can slide it around and insert it. You can definitely move pages around, so that's really cool. All right, say I want to add a theme to this page. I didn't search for themes before this, but I'm going to go to my gallery side tab over here. Here's a few more, I'll get into that later. And I'm going to search, let's say, stars. I'm not sure if they'll have any, they don't seem to have any background or pages. All right, let's do sky. All right, so we have backgrounds and themes. We have clouds and beach. That doesn't really have a lot to do with stars, but I'm going to insert clouds just until I can see if there's anything else. Okay, so night, backgrounds and themes. Bats. This isn't really helping. Alright, so obviously they associate bats with night. Just for fun, I'm going to see if they have constellations. I don't know if they will. They have 5 pictures. It's not really anything constellation, but star clusters. Okay, so anyways, I'm just going to keep the clouds, but that's how you add a theme. So let's say I'm going to go back to my page sorter, and I'm going to go to my other new page, and I'm going to add a theme to this page as well. This one I'm going to look for paper. So down here under backgrounds and themes, I'm going to choose some lined paper just for fun. Maybe this will be an activity page near the end, maybe a writing activity for kids to do. And so let's say I want to add this to my gallery. For me on my Mac, I double click. Accidentally inserted an emoji. I copied and pasted. I'm going to add page to gallery. So now it's in my gallery, right here. So let's say I want to go to properties because I want to add some keywords just in case I want to look it up to add this to a different page. So I'm going to title this lined paper background. And for some keywords, I'm going to type in lined paper, maybe activity, notes, large, and notebook. So now whenever I can click up here, this is saved in my content, but I can click up here and search one of these words, and this will pop up in like a suggestion. So let's test it out. Let's see if I can find it. So I'm going to go to my content and I'm going to type in lined. Let's see, it says pictures. Nope, that's not it. Oh wait, I'm not in my content. Okay, so I looked up lined paper background. And that is this. So I think that's really cool that, if you create a really cool page, create something, really neat, you can save it in your content so you can reuse it. And I really like how you can, add keywords for stuff. Like say for this one, I saved this one a little bit ago. So a small line paper with a pen. So it even saves like the image. Like I guarantee, like I can type in text. To do that, up here in your toolbar, there's a big A, and that allows you to do text. So as long as it's on that A, you can double click anywhere on your screen, on your page, and type. So this is a themed page I saved in my content folder. Alright, so I add that. That doesn't really have anything to do with this page. I just wanted to show the gist of creating text while I was talking about it. I'll get more into that in a second. So I'm going to go back to my page sorter, and I'm going to go up to the initial page I added with clouds. Okay, so say for this page, we're about to talk about what is a constellation. So say before the whole presentation, I want to tell students that if they ever need to use the pen feature, which is right up here. So this is where students can simply get the pen and write on the screen. So I want to do something that makes it a little bit easier for students to use the pen without having to go up here and select the pen feature. So to be able to do this, let's just say I'm going to insert an image. I'm going to look up pen. I have that on a different page that y'all saw a little bit ago. So I'm going to insert this pen. I like this pen for some reason. To make it bigger, I go to this corner down here and I drag it. Okay, so to be able to do what I'm about to do, I'm going to make it to where anytime the student sees a pen on the page, that means they can click the pen in order to enable the pen tool. So they'll be able to use the pen to write on the page. Well, automatically this doesn't happen. You can't do this. But to be able to let this happen, I'm going to double click, which I right click actually on my Mac. I'm going to right click on the pen and go down to link. When I click link, well actually it's linking it to a web page. Hold on. Oh, I want to link to tool. That's what I want to do. I'm sorry. I'm not linking it to a web page yet. I'm going to link it to a tool. So you can link it to the eraser, selection, or pen. I'm going to do pen. So now that it's linked to the pen on this page, all I have to do is click on this pen and I automatically can use the pen to write. Another cool feature that I want to show you about the pen tool that isn't included on what I need to show you about, but I think is really cool. There's a pen, there's different pen styles. There's a calligraphy pen, which I think is really cool, even though I'm not good at using it on here. But there's also a pen called the text pen. I think this is really nifty because you literally use this pen and you write. I'm not good at using the pen, so sometimes it doesn't pick up my words. But once you finish the word, it turns it into text. You have the option, if it is right, you click check mark. So that's why I just did it's right. But say if you write a word, I don't know if that's supposed to be top. It got it right. But say if they got it wrong and you click X, it just changes it back to what you wrote before. It doesn't give you other options. So you pretty much have to erase it and start over. And I really wish that maybe it gave you more options. So that's something that I wish was a little bit different. But once your pen turns it into text by using the text pen, then you can make the text bigger. You can change the color by going up here. You can change the font. And you can move it around. So once you use the text pen and once you write a word and it picks it up, you can do pretty much anything you want to with it. So anyway, say I did the pen, I accidentally drew a dot, press the delete button to do it. I drew the pen, I linked it to the tool. So say on this page, I want to remind students, hint, oops, anytime you need to use the pen tool, just find this picture of a pen on the page and click on it. When you do, the pen will appear instead of the mouse pointer. Now you can write. So I like doing this kind of stuff instead of just assuming that students will know what to do. I like doing stuff like that just so it kind of gives them a clue, because as I was going through this presentation for Constellations, there were different things on different pages. Like for instance, one of the ones with the magnifying glass right here where it said drag. Where's the magnifying glass at in the first place? Oh my gosh. Well, the magnifying glass where it said drag to reveal, I was trying to drag this and this was locked. So I was going to, unlock the image. I was dragging that around. That didn't make sense. I was hovering it over here and you could kind of see it, but I was like, what is going on? And so it would have been cool to give the students a hint. Anytime you see the magnifying glass, you can move that and it'll show you, whatever you're trying to find. So I think it's a good idea to, if you're going to use a certain feature, if you're going to link an image to a tool, I think it's a good idea to kind of explain how to use it. Alright, so I'm going to enter some text right here. I'm going to copy and paste. Actually, I'm not going to. I'm going to go to As You Learn real quick because I need to remember. Copy. I need to remember what I'm doing, but I still need to show you. So I've showed you how to create and manipulate text. I'm trying to think if there's anything else you need to know about how manipulating text. So you can obviously make it bigger by using this arrow, and this automatically will make the text bigger or smaller. If you don't want to do that, you can also choose up here. There's different sizes, but it also changes the font. So this changes it to kind of a medium size in Comic Sans font. But you can obviously go back, say if you want to keep that standard size and change the font, you can do that as well. You can also change the color of the font, make it bold, italicize it, underline it, center it. So manipulating text is very similar to other software like Microsoft, PowerPoint, and stuff like that. So that's pretty easy. So we have that done. Write, save, and highlight notes. So right here is the highlighter. You can highlight stuff using the highlighter. I think you can also, you can make it thicker, which I think makes it much easier. This would be really cool, like say if you had a passage on a page that you wanted students to read aloud, or say if you wanted to read it as a class, if you wanted to highlight main points, you could. Like this is also cool because I'm going to highlight the stuff on here that I've already done and showed you. So I'm showing you right now. I also think it's cool, you can highlight, and if it's crooked, it kind of straightens it up for you. I actually just noticed that because I hadn't really used this tool much before. And so say if you're, highlighting specific stuff, it will straighten it up, make sure it looks real nice for you. I also didn't remember to show this. This obviously is the eraser. I kind of customized my toolbar, which you can do in settings by adding different stuff. So I don't want to add. I already have selection, eraser, fill, pen, shapes, paintbrush. I'll just add paintbrush to show you. So you can add different stuff like that. You can also take it away, which I think is cool, to kind of customize it to what you use the most. Alright, so now add keywords and back up your gallery content. I showed you that. That was over here in this tab, the gallery. This is where I went to my content, where I have some different things. So I have some pictures. I saved a cloud picture during the weather when I was looking at a weather lesson. You can turn images, make it bigger, copy them to where then you can just paste them again, the same size, same angle. I also have some notebook filing pages, so I have line paper background. I could bring this over here and it would change it to that. I'm going to undo that just so it doesn't undo my work. And so I also showed you how to do keywords. You go to properties and you can do keywords. So even if I want to do something crazy like monkey, I can close this, go into my content, I can type in monkey, and hold on, I need to go to my content and search it. And it pops up different stuff. So it's really cool how you can save stuff. Create and add themes. I showed you how to do that as well. That is kind of like if I wanted to look up paper again, or let's say, I wonder if they have something for animals. Even though that has nothing to do with this. Do they have backgrounds down here? Yeah, backgrounds and themes. So whatever kind of theme you want, you can search it up here, and it's an option, like a pull down tab. So let's say I wanted to do the owl theme. It adds the owl to my paper. I'm going to undo that as well. Again, this has nothing to do with Constellations, but I figured I would just use this and add pages to it instead of creating a new one. I do have a new one down here though, so it is possible to open up a blank Smart notebook and pretty much start from scratch. And so it's very easy to do that. I didn't go over these tabs over here, which I think are important. This is an attachment tab. So once you upload different attachments, they automatically save them to your attachment. So I had already uploaded a picture of me and my sister and my maternal grandmother just earlier when I was playing with it. So have that picture right there. I also have a picture saved of me and my father. I was messing with it earlier, making sure I knew how to do all this stuff. To be able to, I uploaded this from my computer, so to be able to do that kind of stuff, there's two little links down here, so you can either attach a file, like from your documents, from your pictures, folders from your actual computer, or you could click on here and it's a insert a hyperlink. So say if I just wanted to insert a hyperlink on my page, the hyperlink says YouTube, and I want to say YouTube to search videos. There's insert link, it puts it over here, and I drop it right here. So then it looks just like text, but you click on it, and you actually click on this, and it takes you to the hyperlink. Something cool also, if you're going to do a basic hyperlink like that, down here there's a puzzle piece. And say, you know, if you wanted to do an image web search or YouTube and automatically have that on the page, you literally, what am I doing? You literally click on it. Actually, yeah, you don't insert how you search. You can actually insert a YouTube video. So I could search videos right now of constellations. I'm going to say for kids. And there's different videos about constellations. So I could literally just choose this video and add it to the page. And this video is now on the page, and you can watch it using the smartboard. I'm going to press play, see if it plays directly on the page. So yeah, it plays directly on the page. So that's really cool, and you can move that around, make that smaller if you want to, so you can make the video really small to fit anywhere you want and adjust it during the presentation, whatever you want to do. So I think it's really cool because like in YouTube, or not YouTube, in Microsoft PowerPoint and Prezi and different stuff, you can insert videos on the pages, but I've never been able to actually search for them through the software. So I think it is really cool how you can search it right here instead of saving images on your computer and having to, you know, insert an image using attachments. You can literally search the web right through here. So I'm going to look up Big Dipper. You search in the software, you don't even have to open up a new browser. And with images, you can literally just, can drag it. Yeah, you literally just drag it. So that is really cool that you can do all of your searching. You can pretty much get everything done without even using Smart Notebook. Alright, so this page is looking a little crazy. We have all sorts of stuff added to it. Pretty sure down here I'm going to highlight. I showed you how to create and add themes, add keys, link objects to sounds, attachments, and other pages. So this is kind of what I did earlier. I linked this pin. Hold on, I'm going to scroll back up. I'm going to move this picture. I linked the pin to the writing tool to where all you have to do is click on the pin and you can write with the tool. So that's one way you can link stuff to images. You can also click and there is an actual link right here. So this is where you could literally enter an address to a website. I use YouTube often, so I don't have to think of a different website. So launch by clicking corner icon or object. So this is kind of like, I forget which one it was, over all the hyperlink I inserted for YouTube. I think I deleted it. There would be a little button like this you would click on. I'm going to do it by object. So I just link this to YouTube. You click on it, becomes the pin. Oh crap. I have it connected to two things, so it's just going to do the pin right now. Let's say I'm going to link this. So right click, link, www.youtube.com. Click on the object, insert link. So now you click on the cloud, it takes you to YouTube. I'm going to show you if you linked it using, it's linked to YouTube, corner icon, it'll pop up this little thing. So you can click on the image all you want to, move it around, make it bigger. It won't take you to YouTube unless you click on the little world, the little browser button. So that's how you can link it to websites. Sounds, you right click again, you have sound right here, and you can click on a sound to play. You can choose file. I don't even think I have any sounds on here, so I don't know how I'm going to show you that. You could record. Hello, my name is Caitlin Higgins. So attach recording. So now I'm going to click on the object. I connected the sound to the object. Hello, my name is Caitlin Higgins. And the object talks. So to make that a little bit clearer, because that was the first time actually doing a sound and recording it, so I can record. This is a picture of the Big Dipper constellation in the sky. As you can see, it is a very clear night and it is very visible. How cool! So I just recorded that. So now I'm going to link it to the object, attach the recording. So now whenever I click on it, this is a picture of the Big Dipper constellation in the sky. As you can see, it is a very clear night and it is very visible. How cool! So that is really neat that you can do that. Attachments and other pages. I mean, that kind of goes along with the link. Hello, my name is Caitlin Higgins. Oops, I'm making it talk now. I'm just going to delete that, get it out of the way. Alright, so that is the end of my deconstruction and my demonstrations of different skills. Sorry, as you can hear, my cat is coughing right now, so it's making a lot of noises. Psst, psst. Are you okay? I think he's coughing up a hairball. I'm sorry about that. Of course, it would happen right at the end when I do not have time to redo this. So anyways, this is a really cool software. I plan on trying to use it as a teacher, actually paying for it instead of the free subscription. As long as I have a smartboard, I think this is a really good software to use in order to make the most of the experiences in the classroom using the smartboard and get students to be interactive. So really cool. All right, thank you.